Alright, so welcome everyone. This is my Civil Engineering 2010 design pitch for the new project to be installed on a oil field. So what's the goal of this project? Well, here's the project boundaries. So this is part of the UVA Observatory Hill Design Competition. As you can see, only part of the hill can be used. And the goal is, there's multiple goals. One of them is to create a new covered space for students to study, add additional student amenities, be accessible, ADA compliant, especially more sustainable. It's very important. And finally, focusing on stormwater management and following BMPs is important. So one goal here is to add a new covered study space for students, a covered pad. It's 80 by 40. As you can see in the diagram here, it's installed near the top of the hill. Right in the middle of, well, it's the middle of the field, the top of the survey area, next to this new hedge maze study area, which we'll get to in a second. It is accessible by both stair and sidewalk. All the water off the pad is accounted for, and there will be a tent located over the pad, which will allow students to remain covered. Very little grading should be required, which will make this very easy for students to use, and should not disturb pedestrian traffic when being installed because the sidewalk is further to the side. Additional amenities. This is something that was requested by the designer, and what's being added here is a study hedge maze, which is kind of a unique idea. Maybe you've never heard of it, but the goal is so it'll look like a hedge maze, but inside of the hedge maze there'll be a bunch of different tables, and students will be able to study there. And there'll be different little private tables. They're denoted by these squares within the hedges, which are green. And so there'll be multiple tables. Students will have a nice little study area surrounded by nature, which will be nice for all the students. It's automatically watered by sprinklers, so a little upkeep is going to be required. The hedges sort of act as BMPs, and they'll absorb all the rainwater. And most importantly, this is not a very complicated maze, as you can see by the design in the bottom right corner, so students will not get lost in them. No one's going to be making an excuse that they're late to class because they got lost in the maze. It's more of an aesthetic. That's the point of the maze. Here's two very important things: accessibility and ADA compliance. So there will be, as we saw in the previous slide, there'll be two ways to get there: by a staircase, which is not ADA accessible, but there is the ramp that is ADA accessible. So the stairway is for faster access, but the ramp is for those who need it, and it has less than 5% grade, which is required. A lot of cutting and filling will be necessary. Unfortunately, one problem with this project is there will be an excess of fill. So too many trucks will be required, but that's just a limitation with the design, as you can see by the green filled in here for the different projects. And all of them have a less than 5% grade if you trace them, except for the sidewalk. I mean, the stairs, obviously. The sidewalk does have less than 5% grade. Maze is accessible and ADA compliant itself, so everyone will be able to use the hedge maze study space. And the ramp will be able to be used by bikes and scooters, and there's bike racks at the bottom of the ramp. And also the covered pad is at the same elevation as the sidewalk, so that's easy to get into. The project is sustainable and should have a LEED Gold rating. You can see in the chart down here which points it qualifies for. There's bike racks, there's recycling bins, not much electricity is used. There's charging stations. It fits in with the UVA aesthetics with the hedge maze, and the hedges are locally sourced. Follows best management practices. Originally there was about 1.5 cubic feet per second of runoff. Without any BMPs, it's only about 1.8. That's just because of the nature of the design. It's mostly hedge focused. Filters will be installed to reduce this little bit of excess runoff. Same with a permeable sidewalk. And there's also a sprinkler system. So this will reduce the stormwater output below at 1.5. So finally, this project is sustainable, accessible, and exceeds all requirements. Students will have plenty of room to interact with nature and study. Covered pad is easy to install and reach, and it's just going to overall enhance the experience for first years and everyone involved. Thank you.